Well, hello. I'm going to talk to you about a control system and a block diagram. Here I have a block diagram. There's an oven here, and I've drawn a box to represent the oven. This is the oven in my kitchen, and there is power going into the oven, and I measure that in percent. And there's a temperature coming out of the oven. I measure that in degrees Fahrenheit. So this represents a system that is an oven, has a heater in it, and a sensor that senses the temperature, and the power comes in. Now, the larger block diagram takes this temperature measured in degrees Fahrenheit and sends it back to a summation point here. And over here I have the set point. That's the temperature of the oven that I want. And here comes, this is the information on the desired temperature. And then here comes the real measured temperature. And I have a minus sign here so that the set point minus the real temperature gives a number out of this summation block. The minus makes it a subtraction block, a summation, but nevertheless. So if I put the set point at 200, which I'm going to shortly, and the temperature inside the oven is less than 200, let's say 100 or something like that. I don't know what the temperature is right now. So 200 minus 100 gives me 100. That's a positive, and all I care about is whether it's positive or negative, and it goes into a controller that's inside the oven that is called an on-off controller. And if the input to this controller is positive, then it turns on the power, and if the input to this control is negative, it turns off the power. So for example, if this is 100 degrees information coming out of the oven, goes back in here, subtracts from 200, gives you 100, then that's a positive 100, then it turns the power on. The oven then gets turned on and it gets hotter, and as this goes up, let's say it goes up to eventually 201 degrees. 201 degrees is the value that comes back here. Subtracted from 200 gives you minus 1. So the controller says, oh, that's a negative number, so I turn off the controller. And then it cools down by losing heat through the walls or the top or the bottom of the oven, or any other leaks there might be. So I'm going to run this experiment now, and I'm going to show you that the temperature in the room is 68.4 degrees, and I'm going to go over here and close the oven door, and that's what time it is, and I'm going to turn on a little bit of light so you can see the control panel just a little bit more. Does that help any? I don't know if it did or not. It's got some glare there. I don't like that. So I'll move this over here and look at it that way. Let's see what happens. Now you can see a little bit clearer there. Then you got more glare. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on bake, and I'm going to set the set point at 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and the control system in the oven turned on this light that's called preheat first, and then it turned on a light called oven. And what I want you to do is watch this oven light, the top one. I don't care about the bottom light at all. I don't know what the preheat light indicates, so I'm not going to ask you about it. Don't want you to worry about it. But the oven light being on means that the on-off controller has turned on the heater in the oven. And just a minute, I'll show you the heater in the oven when it's turned on. It glows red, this being an electric oven. And then after it gets up to higher than 201, this light's going to, 200 I mean, this light is going to go off. And I want you to time by looking at the number along the bottom of your YouTube video, the time that it turns off, and then it's going to be off for a while, and then it's going to turn on again, and then it's going to turn off again. And I want you to make a record of those times when it turns on and turns off. And I can see that the heater is glowing red, so I'm opening the door briefly to show you that. And close the door again. And now I want you to watch this for another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'll get back with you. Those beeps you just heard are when the preheat turned off, and like I said before, I don't know what the preheat really tells, so ignore that. It's just the oven power that we're interested in. Green on means it's that the power is on, and when it goes off, which it will do soon, then it's got, and then the power to the oven is off, and it has reached the set point, the desired set point, 200. And if you just heard that click and another click, it's going to do a third click, and then it's going to turn off if all things are just right. Okay, so the power just went off, 16:20 or something like that, according to the timer on my camera. I'm going to stop this video and then restart another one because YouTube doesn't like me to have too long of videos. So this is the end of video 1.